here it is, y'all. That day we tested this fan, and this over the stove vent hood did not work. We couldn't get it working. We clicked all the buttons. Well, in clicking the buttons, we must have clicked it on and left it on, because the next day Tim came in the camper, and not only was this fan working, but it was working better than it had ever worked before. Let y'all listen to this. Okay, did y'all hear that first sound? That screeching noise? That was how that fan sounded the entire time you were running it. But now you hear this very light hum. Let me get close so you can hear. That's what it sounds like now. So apparently, maybe because it ran all night, which it's a miracle on the it's amazing. On the battery, it worked all night, not a problem. And the sound, it must have just clicked in, because that horrible screeching sound that you hear is how this fan sounded the entire time you were running it. And now it's like whisper quiet, like whisper quiet. What's up, Resurrection Ranch family? It's the Resurrection Ranch at Resurrection Campers, and we have gone mobile with the vision, can these dry bones live? And we are resurrecting campers, and our very first camper is the original RC Resurrection Camper, our first camper that we resurrected literally from the dust. This camper, I mean, everything that could be wrong with it was wrong with it. It was literally the tin structure, and we were able to just resurrect it completely, reframe it, including the roof. There is a huge hole in the roof, and so this is the first resurrection camper who we've given the identity of Happy Camper. And I have some extremely exciting news. When the Resurrection Ranch vision first went mobile and the Lord spoke to us about Resurrection Camper and literally told me to start at Resurrection Camper and to go there, and he just hit us with the vision that Can These Dry Bones Live was about resurrecting things, resurrecting people. It was about hope, and he was shooting that vision everywhere he could. Every place that it would land, he was sending it there. And he spoke to us, and he said that God would be displaying his power over and over and over again. And I thought that meant that we would be resurrecting multiple campers, and obviously I think that is a part of the plan as well. But he has been displaying his power over and over and over again, just with our first resurrection camper, whose identity is now Happy Camper. And something amazing happened the first night that we connected to the battery and we got the solar going. I just cannot wait to show you. There was something that was completely broken, wouldn't work, and now it is operational. And not only does it work, it works better than it ever has worked before. So I have to show you this. It really is amazing, because our first day starting on the systems of RC, everything that we wanted to work worked. We were a little bit, let's see, this door kind of catches a little bit. Let's see if I can get it. With one hand, there we go. Everything that we tried to work with RC actually worked. And we hooked up the solar. That went really well. So the battery doesn't look to be charging right now. However, we should have a full charge on the battery. So we got the solar going and it works. It's fully operational. And then we were worried, y'all. Let me take y'all outside and show y'all that. We were worried about the inverter, because it didn't work when we first hooked it up. We tried to get a spare inverter that we had and hook it up. That didn't work. But we realized that the inverter didn't work because of one little thing. Let me see if I can. Oh, here's where we put it. This little remote. This was the kicker. We were able to find this remote, and now the inverter is operational. We haven't tested it yet, but I'm hoping that I have some pencil sharpener still in here. I'm hoping to test that. I have not used this inverter in a very, very long time. I'm not even sure I remember how to work it, but I'm gonna try my hand at it and see if I can get it going. But y'all, it was so amazing. The first night we had the solar going, the battery was going, we came out, we tested the lights were going. Absolutely everything that day that we tried to get working worked. You know, we almost had a blooper at the end where we couldn't get the inverter working, but once we found that remote, it worked. The inverter worked. And so I cannot believe that we kept up with that little remote all this time, and I was super excited because that literally meant that everything we tried, God was just like, boom, putting his hand on it, touching it, and it worked. But I was just super excited about that day and what it meant moving forward with working on RC, just because things went so well. But then something amazing happened, and I have to show y'all this. I just can't wait to show y'all this. Here it is, y'all. That day we tested this fan, and this over the stove vent hood did not work. We couldn't get it working. We clicked all the buttons. Well, in clicking the buttons, we must have clicked it on and left it on, because the next day Tim came in the camper, and not only was this fan working, but it was working better than it had ever worked before. Let y'all listen to this. Okay. Did y'all hear that first sound? That screeching noise? That was how that fan sounded the entire time you were running it. But now you hear this very light hum. Let me get close so you can hear. That's what it sounds like now. So apparently, maybe because it ran all night, which it's a miracle on the battery, okay, it's not showing how charged it is, but it's amazing. On the battery, it worked all night, not a problem. And the sound, it must have just clicked in, because that horrible screeching sound that you hear is how this fan sounded the entire time you were running it. And now it's like whisper quiet, like whisper quiet. I could hardly even run that fan before, and you had to run it whenever you were cooking in the camper, because it's so easy to get the camper humid. It already tends to be humid in here anyway. They recommend that you run a dehumidifier, so whenever you're cooking, it's recommended that you run that fan. And it was super annoying to have that fan going all the time, or whenever I was cooking in the camper. But now, y'all, that is so quiet. I mean, so quiet compared to how it sounds. So that to me was just Jesus displaying his miracle power. And although it may seem like a small thing, first of all, when we turned the fan on, it wasn't working at all at first. We thought we might have to just scrap it. And then second of all, you can actually run it now and it works. And that was just really an answer to a prayer almost before I even prayed it, that, you know, God was touching the systems of this camper and he's making it better for the person that has this resurrection camper, the person that receives it next, who's, you know, they will like reap the benefits of resurrection camper, whose identity is now happy camper. And so we just were so excited when we came and we heard, or didn't hear, the loud screeching noise of the fan, and now the fan works. And it just gives me so much hope for the oven and for the refrigerator, that we're going to try and see if the refrigerator works, and we're going to try and see if we can fix the oven. So I'm excited about the possibility of those things working as well. And even if they don't, I'm sure the Lord has something in store. He has some type of solution for us. So I cannot wait to see him work and display his power, because, you know, it's like him saying, hey, if I can fix a fan, what can I do with you? What can I do with your heart? What can I do with you spiritually if I can make all things new? So that was super encouraging to me, to see that fan, to hear that fan now working and be operational. Before, I think I actually tried to record a cooking video once in the camper and had that fan on, and I couldn't even record the video, but now it's just whisper quiet. So I'm super excited about that. I also want to give y'all an update about the paint in our resurrection camper, whose identity is happy camper. And that is, I sat with the barnyard gray, y'all, for a second, and I'm thinking that it's just a little too dark and drab for a resurrection camper that we've named happy camper. So we are going to go with the chain reaction instead of barnyard gray. I think that it's just a better fit. It's a lot lighter and brighter, and just coming in the camper for a few days and looking at it and seeing it at night, seeing it at different times of the day, I think that the chain reaction will be better. Yes, I was trying to be cheap and go with what we had, and I definitely would if there was no money in the budget, but I'm hoping that we could just squeeze out just a can of paint to be able to paint all of these cabinets, and for it still to be light and bright. And if we're going to name this camper happy camper and give it the identity, we want it to match up. So we're going to invest in a can of paint, and we are going to paint these cabinets now the lighter gray color of Chain Reaction. I'm going to head outside because I also want to update y'all on the paint color outside of the camper. We did decide to stick with a blue and white color scheme, and we think that that just kind of fits the identity of the camper. But I had an idea, y'all. I had an idea that we could go with a little bit brighter blue, maybe even something more turquoise, like a greenish blue, something a little bit happier and peppier, or just, it could be a blue like this, but just brighter. So when we go to pick up our Chain Reaction paint, we will also get some test paints and test some different colors of blue on our Resurrection camper, whose identity is Happy Camper. And we will decide then which blue we'll go with for our camper. And for the update, we're just going to get a bright white. We already have some white paint, but we might need to get some more. But we are going to go with the blue and white, but we're just going to test some different blues and see if we can come up with something even brighter and happier. All right, y'all, I am nervous about this, but I think that I should be able to test this inverter. The battery seemed to be charged, the fan worked, so I'm going to get in here and see if I can figure out the inverter and test the pencil sharpener. I got everything set up and ready to go, and I forgot one very important component for a pencil sharpener to work. You actually have to have a pencil to sharpen. So now I gotta go and actually test the pencil sharpener to see if it works. Yet another miracle to testify about. Look at the sharpness on the edge of that pencil. I was able to successfully sharpen this pencil, which means that the camper is successfully able to turn the battery power into household plug-in power, which means that we are a go with the complete battery / solar system, because the solar charges the battery, and the battery can now be converted into that plug-in power, which means that you can charge your phone and you can use just a regular household plug, and you can even power a deep freezer. So that is a game changer in terms of our setup, and it is a miracle. I am so excited to say, to report, to rejoice that this works, and you can now use the camper to plug in and charge. And Tim was just saying the other day, because our power went out, that we could always charge our phones using the inverter while we still have our Resurrection camper, whose identity is Happy Camper. So I'm super excited. I cannot be more overjoyed that, you know, we tried to get the solar back rolling and going. We got a new battery, and that all works. The above the stove vent hood fan now also works better than before, and we have some new snazzy paint colors coming to you. We're gonna brighten up and freshen up this blue, and we're going with chain reaction on the cabinets inside. We have a lot of amazing things coming as far as the systems of this camper go. For the first time, we are actually going to hook RC up to shore power. Tim is going to wire up a plug, and we're going to hook RC up to a generator and see how that works, because we've always been just completely off grid with the battery and solar. And so we're going to try our hand at making the plug for RC to hook up to a generator, and that is going to be super exciting. Also, Tim is going to work with the systems inside. We've got to get the water pump back operational and get the water going. We've got to test out the propane. Tim redid all those propane lines, so they should be good, but we've got to test all that and make sure everything is good to go. So we have more coming on the inside systems of the camper that we got to fix up. We also have more coming on the inside as far as paint, flooring, refinishing the tub, and there are probably a couple more projects that I'm forgetting that we're going to get into, but everything is going so well as far as RC. I'm sure we'll come into some bumps in the road eventually, but for now I have lots of good news and miracles to report. So I'm gonna actually call it right here for today. I just wanted to pop in and give y'all an update and tell y'all about some changes that we had as far as the paint colors and color schemes, and to report some miracles as far as the inside systems that are now going better than ever. But it is the Resurrection Ranch, and we've gone mobile with our vision. Can these dry bones live? And it is still all about God. I will see y'all on the next one.